Hello and welcome! Tonight on the show, it's the 8-round sell down between Sweet Baby Ray's and Papa Kraft sweet and spicy barbecue sauces. Join us for the Rumble. We are so excited to have you. This is Sauce Spoken.
And we're back. We are Sauce Spoken, with a podcast detailing your favorite sauces, dips, and condiments. My name's Adam, and I'll be your host. And I'm joined here this week by my co-host, Tori.
Hello! Boy, we're awful chipper this evening. My name is Tori, and this is Sauce Spoken, and of course we are so delighted to have you. And to my right, a guy famously, years and years ago, competed on the Purple Parrots team on a show you may or may not remember, Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Nice. I was looking at the board game of that.
Wow.
They have a board game of that.
They do. It's terrible. Don't play it.
Shocking.
Don't play it.
I've never heard of this before either.
You never heard of this program?
I don't think so.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I watch it all the time.
And now it's time to catch up with the hosts.
Oof.
Time to catch up.
Watched it all the time as a kid. It was a great show.
Yeah, it's a real good show.
Nickelodeon at its finest,
Mhm.
really.
Absolutely.
Nick.
The Orange Years.
I hear they're actually going to remake it, supposedly.
Oh,
with
really?
like adult contestants and a little more like adult-themed challenges, but
For 35-year-old neckbeards.
yeah.
For the same people that did it on Nickelodeon when we were kids. Now they're grown up.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
The exact same contestants. We got Macaulay Culkin on there.
Maybe we're so chipper because we had this heat wave that just rolled in
Oh, yeah.
and it's rolling right out.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we're going to pay for it because it was so we got dumped on Getting Back to Our Roots weather podcast. We got a shitload of snow for Pittsburgh, at least. We got an absolute shitload of snow on Monday. I don't know what we get, like 7 inches or something like that.
8, 9.
Oh, please. I was thinking like 6 inches at best.
Yeah, I was thinking 6 or 7 to be quite honest with you.
I mean, they're technically the reports are 8. That's what they logged it as in the books. It's
Wow.
8.
Okay.
8 inches.
8. We got 8 inches.
We got
of snow.
8.
They got significantly more farther north. Like, I know my parents live in Ohio, respectively, got 13 inches and like 22 inches, my mom said she got.
Dang.
Yeah. So, yeah, we got 8 inches, which, is a lot for Pittsburgh all in one go. Not a lot in the grand scheme of things. But then, subsequently, today, it warmed up dramatically. It warmed up to 48 degrees, I saw.
Yeah.
Almost
Yeah.
50 degrees. And tomorrow, it's supposed to go down to 0.
Oof.
Yeah, big oof. So, which will, of course, take all the snow, melt all the snow, and then freeze the fuck out of all the snow into ice.
Loads of ice tomorrow morning. It's gonna be a fun drive in.
Black Ice City.
Oof.
Heck, I actually almost wiped out this morning walking into work.
When you consider
into
all
the door.
When you consider all the dog pee that will also have melted and refreeze, it's going to be Pittsburgh proud because it's going to be black and yellow.
It really is.
Black ice and yellow ice. But
Black and yellow.
black and yellow. With all that being said, Eric, how's the rest of your week aside from weather?
Aside from weather and enjoying the day, getting stuff done, kinda, sorta. Let's see. I got a large item out of my garage and
Into your house.
And where is
into
it
my
now?
house.
Okay.
Yeah, into my house, and I've got some items pulled aside to put up for sale to declutter. Keep trying to get rid of stuff.
the chair.
Yeah, the chair eventually will
Lazy
go on
boy.
there. That's right.
No more lazy boys in this house.
That's right. It'll be like a Zen Japanese dojo. You come in and sit on the floor.
Yeah, sit on the floor with your little
Take your shoes off and sit on the floor.
Yep.
There'll just be a couple yoga mats out there. Yeah,
Classic.
maybe just like the straw mats though. Go with the whole they're like.
Speaking of exercise equipment, where did your pool noodle go? Did you throw the pool noodle out?
I did. The pool noodle went to the garbage.
Wow.
Wow.
I would have definitely thought you would have kept and repurposed
Oh,
that
absolutely.
somehow.
I'm surprised it's not using as like a banister cover for his so he doesn't bump into it or something.
I was thinking something.
Pipe insulation is what I probably should do right
Pipe
now.
insulation.
There you go.
That's a good one. I was thinking you mount it on the garage wall so you don't bang your car door against it.
That's a good
My
one.
little bumper.
Big brain time.
Big brain over here,
Eric's not that big brain to think of that. Anything else going on
That's why I
this
read
week?
a lot. I get my big brain tips from lots of other places.
He's going to 3D print a bumper.
I know you don't get them from the internet, that's for damn sure.
No. Magazines. Family Handyman and Popular Science and Popular Mechanics. All kinds of big brain stuff in there.
Big brain.
Big brain
That's right.
stuff. Wow.
You like big brain stuff.
Eric's reading magazines. I haven't heard about your magazine reading before.
Now that you
Been
mention
a long
it.
time subscriber. Since I was in high school. So Wow. That's a lot of years now that I look back at it. We were listening to songs today at work, too, that were songs from the 90s. And it was like, does anyone else feel like the 90s was just, 10 years ago?
No, that's just you, Eric. No one else feels that way.
Now my coworkers agreed with me, too. And did the radio jockeys.
Yes, that's an extremely popular trope. Let's move on from this. Tori, how was your week this week, Tori?
Oh, boy. Well, I had fun at card night with you guys on Friday.
Yeah?
That was a ball. I had a good time. And
what did we play?
What the hell?
Why am I drawing a blank on this?
Sharif.
Oh, that's right. We busted out the Shire Reef.
Yeah. You have a coin at my house, by the way. A penny coin.
Shire Reef of Nottingham.
Must have slipped through.
It was the coin I could have had to win. No.
Maybe.
I don't think any of us were any close to...
We've told the listeners about this, the shtick we have with this game, right? It's a bluffing game. You're trying to guess... You put little cards in little pouches, and you have to pass them off as a certain amount of cards of a certain type.
There's legal and illegal. Exactly.
And the sheriff can call you out on your bullshit or not. And I know we like to homebrew rules here, and I know the one that we came up with was this spicy chicken sandwich.
That's right.
Yeah. And you got to have 2 pieces of bread. You got to have a cheese and a chicken.
A red chicken, an illegal chicken.
No, it's a legal chicken.
Yeah, okay. It's all legal stuff except for pepper. Pepper's your illegal item.
Pepper is the illegal item. You're allowed to sneak in with that because normally you have to declare just one item type. If you declare a spicy chicken sandwich, you get to declare all those, and even though the pepper is normally contraband, you get to sneak it in there too, and that's a valid declaration. You're allowed to say that.
It's a good little rule. It's fun.
It's a good rule. We did run into some controversy with that because I played what I called the legendary buffalo chicken or spicy chicken sandwich. Excuse me.
Yeah.
The legendary spicy chicken sandwich because I made normally the pepper in there. That's the only thing that is the contraband, but there also are contraband versions of normally legal items in the game. And I elected to make my spicy chicken sandwich out of all contraband items except for, I think, 1 piece of bread.
1 piece of bread, yeah.
Which has been previously an undiscussed thing in the game, and there was some very hot controversy over whether that was a legal spicy chicken sandwich or not.
We all pretty much thought not, but we let you slide by.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was technically within the rules that we had set. That's all I'm saying.
Oof.
Never said it had to be legal items.
Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I like it. I'm going to do it again. I'll fucking do it again.
Well, we got to bust it back out.
The revised version of the rules was that if you want to do a legendary, you have to have all 5 contraband.
Which I think is fair. That's a fair one. And then you definitely earn the contraband that way. But what else do you have going on this week, Tor?
Yeah, boy, really not much. I mean, Monday was a bit of a slow day with the snow. And, of course, being that national holiday. And we're recording on a Wednesday, which is also a bit weird. But, yeah, man, I mean... Sheesh, I wish I could be exciting or different, but I'm really not. I'm just hammering on that Switch. I'm doing a lot of sauna sitting. I love it, every second of it.
Keeps you warm at the core.
Oh, my goodness. Dude, that's important. You hit on a very important piece there because there's a cold, like an exterior surface level, superficial cold, and then there's the cold that's in your bones.
That's true.
Right.
And, dude, forget it. If you're cold in your bones, hop in the hot box, my man. You'll be fine.
I mean, I know we don't normally talk about our jobs here, but Tori, you stand out there directing traffic all day long.
That's true.
It's awful.
Busy man, guiding the little kids,
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you been hit by cars so far?
Numerous.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's tough because you're also a Michelin-starred chef, and you have to balance it between those 2 jobs. That's a tricky one.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to your part-time job.
Shoe salesman.
No, I was going to say scamming the scammers when they call you.
Oh, well, yeah.
You got one live on the air before we should have hit the mics and got him on there. That would have been really fun.
That one wasn't a good one. I was a little bit too aggressive.
He caught on too fast. Mm-hmm. He started dropping the F-bombs mighty quick, I thought.
And I was very pleasant, straightforward.
Yeah, I was buying it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean...
Maybe you didn't sound dumb enough for him. Maybe that was part of the problem. Maybe you sounded too...
too hip.
Yeah, too hip to the groove.
Maybe. But yeah, man, he really let me have it. It hurt my feelings, but you'll have that.
He was dropping some heavily accented F-bombs.
Yeah. So, well.
Yeah, I was happy. The one thing about the snow I will say is I was happy to see some kiddies out sledding. And the thing that I thought was kind of an interesting occurrence to me was that kids out here in Pittsburgh, if they want to go sledding, they just go sledding. Whereas in Ohio, when I wanted to go sledding, it was like, hey guys, you guys want to go sledding? Yeah, sure. Okay. Whose mom's going to drive us? You know what I mean? Because there aren't hills in everyone's yard.
The Flatlanders.
So that's what I'm saying. You had to go to somewhere to get to a hill. So I know that, like, in my hometown, if you wanted to go sledding, everyone had to go to the cemetery because they have this big ravine which goes down to a stream, and you tried to not go into the stream, obviously. But that was the only place where they had nice, big, long, smooth hills that were tree-free for the most part.
We got hills aplenty here in Pittsburgh.
I know.
A lot of them.
I was just thinking, like, man, kids in Pittsburgh, they can go anywhere. Most of the backyards they can go in.
Heck yeah.
I got a funny story for that. On Sunday, right when the snow was starting to come in, I had a couple of young guys come into Home Depot. They were asking for some hardware and some spacers, and I'm like, what are you guys building? I'm like, oh, well,
you looks like some tough boys.
We're trying to modify...
Ouch.
We're trying to modify a shopping cart with some skis on
Nice.
it. I was like, hell yeah.
Nice.
Go for it, guys. Don't get hurt now, but go for it.
I would have quit my job at that very moment and said, I'm coming with you.
Yeah.
I'll bring a case of beer. Let's do this.
Yes, that sounds fun. That is the only downside about sledding as an adult is that your butt has grown so much more padding and yet it somehow hurts so much more.
Oh, yeah.
That is a fact.
Everything hurts.
I don't know how that works, but strange. But I know this week we're talking about the spicy chicken sandwich, and we're talking about the spice in Tori's heart when he gets in that sauna. So I think that's going to lead us pretty well into the sauces we're talking about this week, which are some stuff that Eric brought for us. So why don't you tell us what we're going to be looking at this week, Eric?
Yes, I brought actually 2 sauces to the table tonight. I got us the Sweet Baby Ray's sweet and spicy barbecue sauce, and I also got us a Kraft slow simmered sweet and spicy barbecue sauce. So very similar. It does.
Slow simmered.
Oh yeah, it does. What? Okay, well,
that'd be a good way to describe you, E. Slow simmered.
Or at least the first part.
Slow stuttered, maybe. Hey, LMAO got him.
Lamau.
Yeah, so you got these sauces for us here this week, Eric. Why'd you choose these ones specifically, I guess?
That is an excellent question.
I know you've talked before. I know we go way to the way back to, I think that was episode...
Like 1, we started, I think, with some...
There was Sweet Baby Ray's.
There was Sweet Baby Ray's on 1.
Yeah, Sweet Baby Ray's, but that wasn't a barbecue sauce. I think it was episode 2 where we were looking at 3. We did 3 barbecue sauces, actually, for that episode. We had the Newman's Own original, the Berman's Kansas City, and the Open Pit original barbecue. I know you were talking at that point, Eric. It came up in conversation about how your family's history with barbecue sauces was the Kraft. Not this one, I don't think, but Kraft brand barbecue sauce, right?
That is true, yes. And yeah, not this particular flavor. Basically, my thought process was, yeah, we tried all those original barbecue flavor sauces, and I just really wanted to explore the other varieties and flavors that these big brands put out there, but I know I wouldn't normally buy. So,
okay.
And I wouldn't, and personally, if I was a listener, I'd be even, interested in hearing our thoughts on these kind of other flavors that maybe you just don't want to risk taking a chance on. Because
is there a reason you wouldn't buy it otherwise?
Have you bought either one of these?
I have not bought either of these before. This is my first time trying this.
I think I have possibly bought both of those before.
Okay.
Because I was a Kraft boy before I was a Sweet Baby Ray's boy, and I've moved on since then. I'm more like I said, I like those Heinz ones primarily that they make, the newer ones.
Which we even talked about doing an episode on those too. So.
We did, but I don't know if we talked about this on air or not, but the problem is at one point Heinz came out with all these new barbecue sauces and they were all named after regions or cities or states and their local barbecue sauce style. And they had 5 or 6 of them. I think they started off with 2 or 3 and then they expanded that to up to 6 at one point. And then they've condensed it. They've gotten rid of them. Now there's only 2 of them, and there's another one that I don't know if they're doing product testing, but there's another one that's just called original style or something like that. And I really think they nailed it on that one. That one I think is amazing. And it's just their standard, basic one now. And so I think that maybe they were kind of doing a little research for those other ones, and they kind of used that to maybe based on sales, they kind of figured out which one sold the best and figured out which one people liked, and they incorporated those flavors into this original one. I don't know if they did something like that.
Maybe. So, yeah, that was my thought process behind it, basically. And actually, I picked up the Sweet Baby Ray's out shopping before I even picked up the Kraft. So, then I saw the Kraft one. I thought, oh, this is cool. It's the same exact name. We'll compare them. So, that was my thought process.
How long ago did you pick these up?
A little while ago. I just noticed that the Kraft is out of date by a month.
Oh, no. How out of date is the Sweet Baby Ray's?
Not even a question.
2 months.
2 months. Oh, damn, Eric.
So they're not like super old, I guess. I mean, that's.
And they're barbecue sauces, so I would think that they've been out for. You've had them for quite a while if they expire, because I think the shelf life on those is pretty darn long.
Yes, I would have to agree. I mean, I bought them, easily. It was back when the weather was still nice. It was probably last spring or so. I don't know.
It might have even been the spring before that, Eric.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think they've been sitting around for a while.
Because I want to say, like, if you ask me off the top of my head what shelf life is on like a barbecue sauce, I'm thinking probably 2 years.
It should be a couple of years. The fact that these both expired, the Kraft expired in December of 21, and the Sweet Baby Ray's expired November of 21.
Wow.
You love old food, man.
So you bought the. This is important. Why we start taking turns purchasing sauces, because otherwise things just sit around for years at a time and go out of date. Although I would still say these are, I sincerely don't think it had any effect whatsoever.
Nah.
Being 1 or 2 months out, not at all.
But before we go any further, let's get on to the physical description of the outside of the containers that we're looking at here today. Now, I'll take the Kraft, and Tori, why don't you take the Sweet Baby Ray's, and we'll just go ahead and we'll do a tag team here, and then once we're done with the outside, we'll move on to the insides.
Very well. So we have, of course, Sweet Baby Ray's. The sauce is the boss, is what it says right on the neck. I know I've said that at least once or twice during the course of this program. But you have what looks to me like a regular old Ken's or a salad dressing-esque type bottle, almost, almost apothecarian, if you will. You could definitely see a shape like that on an old-timey shelf, I think, in a drugstore. You get some snake oil and Sweet Baby Ray's, But yeah, so there you have it. The bottle is predominantly clear. There's some labels on the front here. Sweet Baby Ray's, of course, we've seen it a million times. Gourmet sauces. I know we've mentioned this before, but they have the triangles. These little triangles, almost like a starburst. Right in the middle there is red, and with yellow lettering, sweet and spicy barbecue sauce. We have a pair of peppers flanking on either side, and some little flares, little wispies, if you will. Go ahead and check out the Instagram if you want to check out the wispies. You got to be careful when you brush on during meat. Of course, they warn you of that. And got the ingredients and the nutrition facts. And there you go, man. Sweet Baby Ray's, the exterior dimension.
Cool. Well, I'll move on to the Kraft here, sweet and spicy, the exterior. And I think most people have probably seen a Kraft bottle before, but I think that maybe this is a slightly new design, because the one thing I'm actually noticing, and I don't think they've done this before, and who knows how they may have changed this bottle design since then, because,
since
Eric bought this years ago, we're thinking. But if you look at the body of this, it's actually kind of guitar-shaped.
It is a guitar-shaped. That's fair to say.
It curves in on the middle, main portion of the bottle, and then flares out above and below that. And it kind of has like that rounded bottom effect and the rounded top, and then it necks down where the neck of the guitar would go. Obviously, it's much shorter and stubbier than the neck of a guitar. And I don't think this was intentional, like guitar shape, but it is, kind of unintentionally that shape. And the blue cap that I'm sure, most people are used to seeing, and it comes with, of course, the blue label around the cap that we peeled off. And then below that, they've got a blue plate with the typical Kraft logo, blue lettering inside a white elliptical, inside a red elliptical. Actually, they're not even ellipses. They're, I don't know what you would call that, some kind of like a weird elongated hexagon. And it's got some of the barbecue sauce on the plate, in addition to what looks like 3 chicken wings, and then some sliced up green pepper and jalapeno on there. And below that, on a wood colored with some wood grain effect, it says slow simmered, sweet and spicy in big letters, barbecue sauce. The astute observant eye will note that it is kosher. There's a little K on it.
There you go.
Other than that, the back is kind of busy. That was clearly just utilitarian, get all the information on there. It does say refrigerate after opening, which I think is pretty common. Other than that, not a whole lot going on with this bottle. The one thing that's thrown me off a little bit, which I think is a little odd, and I don't think the Sweet Baby Ray's does this, but when it comes up to the top, it has like a main diameter, which is the same outer diameter as the lid is, but just before the lid, the bottle necks down into a narrower diameter and then flares out again to the diameter of the cap. And I don't see a functional reason.
That's how you get your paw in there, to rip the seal.
Oh, okay.
Booyah, big brain.
Okay, that makes sense. That's how you rip through the blue label that goes around it. Okay, that does make a little bit of sense, but they don't have that on the Sweet Baby Ray's.
And I noticed you were struggling with it on the Sweet Baby Ray's to get it open.
It is astute. It was easier to open this Kraft without a utensil, so that maybe they are onto something. I'll give them that. Seems like a lot of work to go in for just that, but hey, you know what? More power to them.
Yeah, a lot of extra molding, I would imagine, in that design. But
I do think, though, I will say, though, I think that the Sweet Baby Ray's adhesive on that is pretty tough, and there was almost no adhesive on this label. So I think that maybe it's for that reason, but I think they're controlling that largely through the amount of adhesive on there, too. So, but before we go any further, let's move on to the inside of the container, the actual sauce itself they're looking at. And I think, Tori, not to get too much of a spoiler here, but I think we're going to be pretty much 1-to-1 for quite a bit of this episode, and I think the sauce inside the bottle will not be that much different. So why don't you go ahead and lead us off with the inside, what you're looking at there first.
I think it's important to mention that it's longer than 2 months out of date. This is November.
Oh, so 3 months.
Yeah. So let's just clarify that.
Okay.
3 months.
November 27th, December, January. It's not the January 27th yet.
It's pretty darn close.
Okay. I'm just clarifying.
Okay.
Clarifying for the clarifier.
He's
there.
acting like it matters.
Right.
It's old. It's out of date is what the point is. It's at least 2 years old is what we're thinking at this point.
Yeah.
So
I know I'm not the first one to bring an old sauce to the table.
2 years old?
Adam's done it
No!
quite a few times.
No.
So.
Oh, okay, yes. I have brought stuff that was days out before. I've never, and it was something that wasn't a barbecue sauce.
It's been months out, Adam. You brought
Not something
that's
that was
months out.
probably years old, Eric.
Okay.
Eric's angry already.
Hitting a soft spot here. I'm sorry. Sorry. I know.
Describe the fucking sauce.
I know. I brought the wine jelly and that was out of date, but it was just so damn festive you couldn't pass it up.
Eric's
That was
got a
years out of date.
gun.
Anyways,
You're years out of date, piece of shit.
that shit was so runny. All right. No. All right.
I think it was... Okay, let's move on.
Let's move on.
What am I talking about now?
I'm going to start a Christmas argument over again. We just now started talking to each other again. No, I'm just kidding. Inside of the sauce container you're looking at.
The inside.
Motherfucker, the sauce! What are we doing every episode?
The inside.
Man, Tori fucking scrambled his brains tonight.
Wow. It's this old ass sauce.
The cold has really addled him. His brain's still unfreezing.
There might be some truth to that. That might be real. Okay, so I got Sweet Baby Ray's. Apparently, we talk about the interior, what's in the bottle too. So I'll go ahead and do that.
Apparently,
Every episode.
Oh boy, someone missed that joke.
he's fucking with us.
Yeah,
Piece of shit.
yeah, duh.
Duh.
So there you have it. It has, as you get a good smear across the inside of your cup, it has a real molassesy type color to it. You know, a real dark caramel. Sort of a brown. And it also has those very dark flecks in it. Of course, it blows a blizzard test out of the water.
I've been holding it upside down for like 10 minutes now, and it's not even budged.
Yeah.
Sweet Baby Ray's.
Don't even worry about it. So the Sweet Baby Ray's, it of course clings to the side. It's a barbecue sauce that you want to see. It's doing everything you want to see it do. Yeah, it's clinging to the side. It has a nice dark color. It doesn't smell as smoky. I don't know what kind of smell I get there, but it's barbecue sauce. Very little smoke in comparison to the Kraft, but I'll let you guys take care of that one. But yeah, man, there you have it. I mean, it is, close your eyes, think of a barbecue sauce, bang. Sweet Baby Ray's, sweet and spicy. There you have it.
Well, I think that, normally we try to avoid doing outright comparisons of the sauce. I think this episode, I know, Eric, you had it listed in the calendar that they set up for us as Sweet Baby Ray's versus Kraft.
I did.
So, and I do think it's a little bit fair to do that in this specific instance because, I mean, like I said, I'm spoiling a little bit, but they are so similar.
They share the same name.
They're so similar in so many ways. Even in appearance, they're so similar. So, Tori gave a pretty good description, I think, of the Sweet Baby Ray's. I'm going to have a hard time describing anything different than that about the Kraft other than by comparison to the Sweet Baby Ray's. The Kraft is runnier, not by a whole lot. It also passes...
You think? I think Sweet Baby Ray's is runnier.
I can do the blizzard test to prove it, but I can tell you right now that, like, the Sweet Baby Ray's, here's Sweet Baby Ray's. And I'm just going to demonstrate this over a plate. Now, I'm holding this one upside down. Sweet Baby Ray's. Here's a Kraft. And they're equal amounts.
I can't wait till that falls on your mouth.
All right. It immediately plopped out. So, yeah, I would definitely say the Kraft is distinctly thinner.
Yeah, and my cup is the same way. Kraft is thinner.
I did it over a plate. I did the blizzard test. It did hold for a second, but then it almost immediately plopped out onto the plate. And
Kraft is a little bit lighter, I think. Maybe.
Yes,
yeah, I think it is.
More reddish notes.
Exactly.
Sorry.
I was going to say the color is a little bit. No, go ahead, Eric. Fuck you. No. I think the Sweet Baby Ray's is actually redder. I think the Kraft is actually browner. Look, I'm looking at them at the side of the white cup. If I have some smeared on the side there.
Yeah, I think on the getting it on the side, I think you get a real good characterization.
Right, and I do think that the Kraft they both have fleck in them.
No doubt.
The Sweet Baby Ray's has like a thick black pepper fleck, whereas the Kraft has a much smaller, like finely ground fleck in it.
Dare I say green and red also.
Okay, yeah, it could. I'm having a hard time detecting exactly. But they definitely, I would say, the Kraft has more Fleck in it. But other than that, they look, I mean, if you put these 2 feet away from each other, you would never know the difference between them.
I think you could smell the difference, however.
Oh,
I just mean like appearance-wise. I don't think you'd know the difference. Maybe via the, how runny they are, I could see something like that, but that's really about it.
Get your sniffer in there.
So, yeah, definitely an interesting choice. Like I said, these are extremely similar. So I think let's get on to our initial tasting notes. But I think in order to do this, we are going to have to do a little bit of a compare and contrast. So I would say instead of just doing one sauce, you can kind of give your compare and contrast between the two of them. You want to go ahead and lead us off with that, Tori?
Sure, yeah. I'll start with the Kraft, I suppose, maybe. I think, well, getting back to what we were saying, I don't see much of a difference between the two. Me, personally, I noticed one distinct difference that would set the Kraft away from the Sweet Baby Rays. Now, I really didn't care for either one of these, to be honest. And the date, damn to the date, that's I know I'm just giving you a hard time here. I'm making them blush, but that didn't weigh into this at all. But at any rate, I feel as if Kraft is Sweet Baby Rays, but with a little more of a chemical twist.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it smelled like a chemical campfire, sorta.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, geez, damn near 1-for-1. I just got an unsettling chemical note from Kraft that I didn't care for. Sweet Baby Rays, however, did not have that, and because of that, addition by subtraction. There you have it.
All right.
Anything else you want to speak to as far as like they're called sweet and spicy? Did you want to say and make any comment about the sweetness or the spiciness?
Oh, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought it up because I know I said before that they share the same name, and that is incorrect. One has the Aversand, and the other one uses the N. Sweeten.
That's true.
Spicy.
That's very true.
So let's call us be fair.
It's true. They are not exactly the same.
They are not exactly the same.
Although I think if you spell the words out, they would be the same. But yes,
they did that for us, and they're not the same.
What?
You like that?
Okay.
Flip the script on you.
I'm confused, but okay.
They are written on the bottles, is all he's saying.
No,
I know what you're saying,
but I'm saying
too,
the same
Adam.
word, though. You fully wrote it out.
But I got a real heavy ketchup from the Sweet Baby Rays. Real heavy tomato, more so than the Kraft. Almost a noticeable ketchup. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the base for this.
Interesting. I'll go next. So as far as I'm concerned, like I said, I thought that they were almost identical to the point where it's like if you'd said, hey, this was brand new and this was 2 years old, I might have said they're the same exact sauce. Or, if one was like batch from one facility and one was a batch from another facility, maybe I could see them being slightly different. To me, they're almost that close. For what it's worth, I think I actually prefer the Kraft. I actually thought that one had less of a chemically smell, to be honest with you. I thought the Sweet Baby Rays definitely has more of like a chemically smell. I thought the Kraft smelled more like barbecue sauce. And personally, I found the flavors to be more well balanced in the Kraft as well. I thought that the Sweet Baby Rays was accurate. It was definitely sweet and it was definitely spicy. But I didn't think that there was as much balance there. I think that the Kraft has now I'm talking, this is like minuscule differences here, so I don't overread this, but I thought that the sweetness was slightly more in the Kraft and the heat was slightly toned down a little bit. And like I said, I thought that maybe there was just a bit better balance there in the Kraft. And it does bear mentioning that when I say spice, neither one of these is really spicy. I don't really feel the need to do a flavor or a heat rating for either one of these.
Absolutely not.
Do you, Eric?
I was prepared to do one anyways, but that's all right.
Okay.
We don't have to. We don't have to.
I'd be interested to hear your score, though.
It's tricky because I do think that like heat was the intent with this, but like for me, I don't know. I'm not getting a whole lot of that like cayenne thing. Like to me, there's no real like heat that I'm getting. I don't know. It's almost like a black pepper heat than more so than the the cayenne, like red pepper, a piperine, I believe is what that chemical is called.
For the Sweet Baby Rays, you're absolutely right because, like you said, there's more of just like a black pepper inside.
You can see it, yeah, absolutely. Right. But why don't you go ahead and lead us off with your initial tasting notes, Eric?
So as usual, I'm totally at odds with you guys.
You can't be total opposite because
totally
Tori and I are already opposite of each other.
Right. So
how are you going to be opposite both of us?
I have a nice blend between you guys.
I didn't even taste the sauces.
He loves them both.
So I don't even remember which one I tried first. I think I tried the Sweet Baby Ray's first, but I wrote down my notes backwards because I wrote down Kraft first. Anyways,
small brain time.
Yeah. I'm going to start with the Kraft because, like Tori said, it is distinctly different in the sense that it has that smoke flavoring to it. And I thought
they both had smoke flavor. I thought the Kraft had slightly more.
I didn't detect it in the Sweet Baby Ray's.
Okay.
And I also thought that the vinegar came across. I think it smelled slightly more vinegary than the Sweet Baby Ray's typical like barbecue sauce. And now I'm going to jump over to the Sweet Baby Ray's. Well, and like Tori said on the Kraft, also the like green and red flakes that he actually called out when I like smeared it up on the side of the cup. I thought that was really interesting because I do think that the Kraft has a little bit more spice to it than the Sweet Baby Ray. Yeah, slightly.
How are we so all over the place on this?
I agree with you on that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's weird.
So now when I went back to Sweet Baby Ray's, it does definitely have the big pepper flakes, like you said, and it gives that like building heat, which I really like. But it definitely, I wrote down here tomato, ketchup, and it's exactly as advertised. It is sweet and then heat. But it takes a while to build up to it.
I do think you're right. The Sweet Baby Ray's, I think, is more of a building heat, but I thought that it topped out.
Well, they both are.
I don't know, man. I thought I was getting the heat from the Kraft all the way up front. The Sweet Baby Ray's built a little bit, and I think ultimately kind of the apex was a little bit higher than the Kraft. That was my personal thoughts.
Well, I think they're both going to keep building, too. If you keep eating more of that Kraft, I think it's going to, just continue to
I can attest to that.
Rise on that
yeah, that's true.
Tongue and that, the burn level on your lips, which I've been here while you guys were taking the show for a good while there. I was just eating away on both of them, so it was all good. I was happy as could be.
Happy as a clam E. Slow simmered happy E.
And then I went back and wrote more things on the Kraft because I just kept the way it smelled and the way it tasted, it actually reminded me of campfire. Like if I close my eyes, I can picture myself in a forest with like a fresh fire put out.
That's your happy place?
Yeah, I was actually pretty happy. And then when I kept eating it, also somehow got hot dogs. Literally got the flavor of like hot dogs inside of the Kraft.
I think Kraft does make hot dogs, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Bologna, I know that.
Yeah. So and I wrote a big exclamation point. How the hell does it taste like hot dogs?
That's the preservatives I think you're tasting.
Probably, yeah. It's the chemicals inside there. I'm just making the nitrates. I'm tying them to the
Quite honestly, that is definitely a possibility. Yeah, we'll find out soon.
But yeah, I think I don't want to spoil my ratings for them, but
that's interesting.
I think they were very interesting because I honestly expected going into this to be having the problem that Tori was saying, where they're just like 1-to-1 exactly the same, except for the fact that the smoke difference was even something Tori was like, oh yeah, clear as day, right? And I wasn't expecting that going into this. I was expecting it to be literally like, oh, this one to this one, extremely similar. But there's enough variety there that I clearly have one favorite over the other.
I think that is fair to say. I think that's an accurate way to put it. Like, to me, they're very 1-to-1 to the point of being pretty much replaceable, but I do think I have a preference for one over the other.
Yes.
It's fair. It's very fair. Well, that's interesting. Now that we wrap that up, it's weird because, the thing about it to me is that, like, if I hadn't been the one to pour the sauces out of the bottles into the cups and then pass them around separated so that we could all label them before we poured the second one, I would have almost been inclined to say that maybe we had mixed these up. Because it seems weird how we're getting such mixed notes on this and we can't seem to come to any consensus on it. I just think that's kind of strange.
Yeah, it's weird.
But without further ado, let's go ahead and find out where the hot dog flavor is coming from in the Kraft, because it's time for Eric's favorite segment of the show, the ingredients.
I thought it was find the hot dog was the favorite segment.
Find the weenie, Eric.
I bet it'd be really good on a hot dog.
Hot dogs in the container.
You put hot dogs in your chili, too. That was another thing that was weird about your chili. All right. Anyway.
Oh, that made it bomb. That made it fire.
They weren't hot dogs. They were little smokies. They're sausages. They're totally different.
That was so good.
They have a nice smoky flavor, another totally different texture and taste. They're not hot dogs. That made another thing that made it taste like fucking garbage, Adam.
Don't listen to him. That chili was awesome.
Never make me eat it ever again.
Could almost been little smokies that were inside this Kraft spicy and sweet barbecue sauce.
If you were a hot dog, you'd be a little smoky.
All right. Does anyone have a quick
stinky
guess for the on the
high
first
fructose
ingredient?
corn syrup?
No doubt. Water.
Absolutely. Yep. Adam nailed it. Followed by vinegar, tomato puree, molasses, apple cider vinegar, modified food starch.
Love it. You'll love to see it.
Only the finest here,
I love
boys.
seeing things that were modified in my food.
Salt.
It's like mechanically separated chicken in the Tyson Dino Nuggies that we tried
Right.
this on.
Oh.
Contains less than 2% of natural hickory smoke flavor, mustard flavor, flour,
Okay.
chipotle chili peppers, onions, spices, paprika, garlic, natural flavors, potassium sorbate.
There's your hot dog flavor.
Yeah,
Potassium
right.
sorbate. Man.
Yeah, probably. To preserve freshness.
There you go. Preserving freshness, bro. If hot dogs aren't fresh, what is? That's all I gotta say.
Your freshness has been preserved.
It has been preserved. What little there was to begin with. All right, hit us with the Sweet Baby
So you
Ray's.
think we're going to have a big difference here on
Probably not.
ingredients? Probably not as right.
I sincerely doubt it.
Tori, you want to say the first ingredient there?
Oh, boy. Do we have that HFCS?
We sure do.
Oh,
I
yeah.
bet there's jalapenos in that, though, because it has little jalapenos on the front of the bottle.
Yeah, the green and red.
does.
Yeah.
It'd be false advertising if they're not in there, so.
Which is weird because we definitely saw green and red flakes in the Kraft, and yet all we saw was black pepper flakes inside.
And I didn't
the Sweet
taste any
Baby.
jalapeno, like cayenne spice. I only tasted that black pepper spice, I think.
Yeah, me too. So
Could be wrong.
okay, so the first ingredient was high fructose corn syrup. Then we have distilled vinegar, tomato paste, modified cornstarch, and then less than 2% of salt, pineapple juice concentrate,
Huh.
natural smoke flavor. So there is smoke in this one. I just didn't taste it. Spice, caramel color, molasses, jalapeno peppers. Look at that.
All right, okay.
Sodium benzoate for preservative,
Okay.
garlic, mustard flour, corn syrup, sugar, natural flavor, tamarind, celery seed,
Tamarind.
tamarind,
Tamarind.
Tarm.
Oh, it's tamarind.
Yes, I know it's tamarind. You always say tamarind. We've
I
been
always
talking about
throw
this
an R in
for
there.
50 episodes. You're like tamarind. It's always tamarind, and you're always like tamarind. Let's go through this one more time. I know we don't normally do this, but I want to go back to back on these. I'll read the other one. You go first.
High fructose corn syrup,
High fructose corn syrup,
distilled vinegar,
vinegar,
tomato paste,
tomato puree,
modified cornstarch,
molasses.
and then mine says contains less than 2% of the following.
Okay, so this starts off with the apple cider vinegar, and then the modified cornstarch, and then the 2% less of the following. Start with the 2% less of the following.
Salt,
Interesting. Mine is hickory smoke flavor.
pineapple juice concentrate.
And I think that is in a lot of different Sweet Baby Rays.
Sure.
I think that is what they use as one of their sweetening agents.
It's very sweet.
Mine goes into the mustard flour after that.
Mine now says natural smoke flavor.
Okay. And I know you said yours had jalapenos.
Yeah, eventually. It's spice, caramel color, molasses, jalapeno.
Okay, yeah. And mine has chipotle peppers, which are made from jalapenos, if you recall that, but
That's
they're
right.
smoked. So, I think if the ingredients play out there that, maybe it's not exactly perfectly 1-to-1, but it's mostly just like the little, less than 2% of the following seasonings that are the primary difference.
Devil's in the details. Why that tomato paste is prevalent.
On
In-
Sweet
in
Baby
Sweet
Rays.
Baby.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
that is like a core thing of like barbecue sauce. So, I think like you're saying like you're tasting ketchup makes sense.
Yeah. I'm not
Um,
saying it's outlandish. I mean, but it's far more noticeable than Kraft.
I do have a brief soft-spoken rewind.
Uh-oh.
And it's because I recently went to the much heralded from Eric Mission Barbecue. I went to one. I went
Nice.
to the one in Boardman, Ohio. Though I did not go to the one local to you, which I thought was interesting because they actually do have a really wide variety of interesting barbecue sauces, kind of like the Heinz did, where they did it from like different regions. But they also have one that's called like, I don't know, Carolina shaken sauce or something like that, and it comes in like a big jar, and it almost looks more like a salad dressing, but you remember how we were talking, going back to like the origin of barbecue sauce and how that kind of like started off initially? That is what that stuff is. It's like a proto barbecue sauce where it's just basically like vinegar, some red pepper, some black pepper flakes, some other seasonings and shit, and you just shake it up, and it's very liquidy. It's basically just vinegar and pour it on, and it's actually pretty damn good.
Wow.
That sounds very cool. So you tried like their whole lineup basically?
Tried the whole lineup. Yeah.
So it's like what, like 8 no, more than that.
Yeah, I got like a 3-meat sampler, and I loaded them all up with different sort. I put sauces on my coleslaw, on my fries, on all my meats. I think my favorite one was this one like mustardy sauce they had. That was really good. But that shaken sauce, the whatever it was called, that one was actually pretty damn good too. Like I would definitely try that on some stuff. The problem is it doesn't have a lot of body to it. It's very runny.
Right.
That's really the only downside. But
Yeah.
it was neat because, like I said, you got to kind of see the evolution of barbecue sauce from the Mission Barbecue, where it starts off with that like proto barbecue sauce, And then as it progresses through the regions, you can see like the regional variations. I thought it was pretty cool.
Neat.
Definitely from a sauce connoisseur, podcast, I would definitely say take a stop out to a Mission Barbecue if there's one near you and try the whole lineup. Report back to us.
Sounds like a plan to me, man.
Send them to show notes for Eric, softspoken@gmail.com.
Attention, Eric.
Yeah, attention, Eric. Urgent.
Yeah, I would love to hear some,
Mail them to Eric's front door at Pittsburgh, PA.
Some, it'd be great to hear some listeners,
We're not bleeping
thoughts
that out.
on, yes, you are. Thoughts on, the sauces in general, and, yes, Mission barbecue sauces. They're a really great restaurant, and I know I had high hopes of us someday doing our own show on it, but I don't know if we're ever going to make it out that way. So
I know.
We'll see.
Well, we've talked about doing that before, and there's some logistical difficulties of like doing like a live episode. But I still think, because we talked about like Red Robin too. There's been a number of them that have good sauce selections. I think the Mission Barbecue one would be interesting. I was a little bit surprised when I went in there. I didn't realize it was like veteran themed.
Oh,
because I like walked in and it was like America, times, America to 11. I was like, holy cow.
Mission. They're on a mission.
Yeah,
Patriotism.
they're very like in your face. Like there are pictures of veterans on every wall. It's a little creepy if you're not like prepared for it.
Wow.
if you're not expecting it. Like, I thought it was a little bit much, but good for them, for honoring the vets. But I was very aggressive. So
yeah, I forget what their actual. I mean, they give like meals out to vets in.
They do. Yeah. They seem like a pretty noble organization. There was a little bit of a kerfuffle when I went there, just with the ordering process because it's a little bit bizarre. But the food was very good. They had this like jalapeno cheddar sausage thing, which was probably one of my favorite items on the menu. It was delightful.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I would highly recommend that if you're out there.
That sounds pretty dang good.
Try that mustard barbecue sauce on it. But without further ado, I think I was going to say they have a website presence. We've been on Baby Ray's before. We've been on Kraft before. I don't know if we need to really visit these. What more are you going to say about two of the most popular barbecue sauces in America? I think people are familiar with website content, right?
Right. And they have a bunch of other weird flavors out there too, I'm sure.
I know. I'm confident we've read all the flavors for Sweet Baby Ray's before. I don't know if we need to go into the ones for Kraft because Kraft makes, everything on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Including hot dogs.
Including hot dogs. So I think Kraft owns Oscar Mayer, don't they?
Kraft Heinz, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's what I had thought. So, without further ado, I think it's time for us to get onto the ratings portion of the show. Now, we don't normally do this.
Oh, man.
But since Eric did specifically put this as a versus, I want to see a show of hands.
Oh, man.
And on the count of 3, I want you to raise your right hand for Ray's or your left hand for Kraft, okay? Right for Ray's, left for Kraft. And I want us to do this all at the same time. We'll keep your hand up, and then we'll announce what your favorite was, and we'll go into our specific ratings.
Right Ray's, left Kraft.
Right Ray's, left Kraft.
Okay.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I have my left hand up for Kraft Heinz. I thought it beat out the Ray's. Eric has his left hand up.
Beat out Ray's.
For the Kraft, beating out the Ray's. And Tori has his right up.
I'm a Raymond.
He's a Raymond. Much like the
just not
early
the one
2000s, mid-90s video game, Tori is a Raymond.
Raymond.
Everyone loves Rayman.
Yeah, that was beat.
So, interesting. I actually thought Eric was going to go the other way. So I'm wondering how much this is like family, history connotations, blah, 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 all that horse shit.
Maybe. I don't know.
Baking into that. I don't know. But now that we've settled that, I am curious where the actual ratings come into that.
Wow.
Let's go the same direction we did for the tasting, and so Tori, you can lead us off.
Okay.
And I would say go ahead and just give your ratings for one, your ratings for the other. I think it's 2-1 against giving a heat rating, right? So I don't think we need to do that.
Yeah, we don't need to do it.
I don't feel like it needs it personally.
I don't feel as if it needs it either, but don't let that stop you.
I think the sweet is definitely a more predominant note in these than the spice. But that's just me.
I mean, we can talk about it obviously when it comes to our thoughts, our taste, our taste and our rating and what we thought of it.
Sure, feel free to intermix and intermingle.
If you'd like to give it a heat rating, Eric, you can do it for the listeners. I just don't think we need to compile that into the spreadsheet.
Do it for TG because I want to hear it.
Do it for TG because
of course
that's spice rating.
But let Tori go first with his rating.
Okay. Yeah. So since I was a Raymond, I'm going to do Raymond first. I don't want everyone to get all up in arms. I know, I can hear everyone already hooting and hollering, getting all up in arms. But I don't particularly care for Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, just period. I mean, so allow me just to clarify that. So with looking through that lens, I think Sweet Baby Ray's is very well suited. 4 at best. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Barbecue sauce is just, in general, not my favorite sauce. I mean, I could just on a chicken sandwich, just alone, just your plain Jane fried chicken sandwich, I can think of 10 other sauces right off the bat that I would go with prior to any barbecue sauce, especially not something Kraft or Sweet Baby Ray's, which is
Kiko Man's plum sauce.
Kiko Man, that's a stretch.
I had some of that I had some of that on some chicken patties the other day. It was so good.
On a chicken patty sandwich?
No, just on chicken patties.
Okay. Not the bread.
Well, bread them up.
I mean, it may find its way in the top 10. I'm sure it's good. But, yeah. I mean, so barbecue sauce as a whole isn't my favorite. Sweet Baby Ray's and Kraft, I get the feel from both of these places. A little bit less from Sweet Baby Ray's, but this is commercialized, baby.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is
mass
production, nameless, faceless, evil operation, evil empire type stuff.
Evil.
Yeah, coming down here, especially with Kraft. But, but yeah, so I mean, with all that being said, Sweet Baby Ray's is probably maybe a 4 4.25, and Kraft, I mean, hobbling to the finish line, maybe a 2 at best.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same ballpark as you there, Tor. You know, I was more in favor of the Kraft. I do think that these are both like utterly commercialized, and I think they're both like quintessential, you know, the most bland, stereotypical, basic white girl barbecue sauces that you're going to get.
No doubt.
Especially that Sweet Baby Ray's. I know we've talked about this whole history in the past. You know, our families, we've talked about this, grew up on something like the Kraft when it was like you went to the store to get barbecue sauce. That was it. You know, before all these millennials started gentrifying the barbecue game, I guess, you know.
You mean making it better?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yes, I do love barbecue, and I do think it's come a long way in the northern hemisphere of the United States, you know. And I am thankful that we have so many more options now than we used to, like when we were kids, because it really was like straight up like Kraft. That was it, you know. Like you had Kraft or maybe a couple other like very equal, you know, thoughtless barbecue sauces that were your options. And if you wanted something special, you had to make it yourself. Sweet Baby Ray's came out and they elevated the game a little bit. And I think they kind of forced everyone else to like rethink their stereotypical barbecue sauce and make them a little bit better. They quickly sold out and commercialized. And now there's actually good barbecue sauces on the market now that, you know, are smaller operations. You can get interesting barbecue sauces. We've talked before about a lot of them.
Ivory.
Exactly. The Lily's Q Ivory barbecue sauce, you know, being a prime example of something really off the wall interesting that you can get.
Interesting, but sadly none of us really cared for.
What episode number was that?
Yeah, let me take a quick look here.
I'm going to guess 10.
You think that was 10? I don't think it was that long ago. I think it was less than that. Lily's Q was 15. Yeah, episode 15. Yeah, I mean, that's a good example of like some interesting stuff that people are doing. I don't think we've done a barbecue sauce in quite a while.
We haven't. That's
but,
for sure.
Yeah.
I think for me, Tor, I know you said 4.25 for the Rays. For me, the Kraft is coming in at like a 4. And for me, the Baby Rays, which I like less, is going to be a 3.5.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's where I'm coming in with it. You know,
yeah, not good.
Not stellar ratings. You know, like I said, I know we generally say Heinz ketchup is like a 5 in our grand scheme of 0 to 10. You know, and I do think I would probably prefer ketchup on a lot of applications to these sauces. I think that's pretty fair. Yeah, they're very much okay, but there's a lot better options you can get now than these.
Huh.
Interesting how you think that there's something better than Sweet Baby Ray's sweet and spicy,
right?
Adam.
How could you? It was a perfect 10. No, okay, it's not a perfect 10.
And yet you liked the Kikkoman plum sauce. Interesting.
So I always want to like start this off with a quick little backstory from like, you know, when I was a kid coming home from school, grade school,
Getting your ass beat. And
I would come home
barbecue sauce on it to heal the burn.
And I'd be hungry and I'd want to make a quick like snack after school, right? And we had those frozen breaded chicken patties, and I'd like heat up one of those in the toaster oven.
Yep.
The toaster oven that I own right now, as a matter of fact.
Still kicking.
That same toaster oven's still kicking.
Still ready to burn someone else's house down.
That's right.
The least energy efficient appliance you own. Can't even hook it up to Alexa.
Nope, couldn't even do that. And so and I've had mayo on that chicken sandwich before, and I've had ketchup on that chicken sandwich before. I guarantee you, I would much rather have any barbecue sauce than ketchup, personally.
Any barbecue sauce.
Any barbecue sauce. Even Lily Q's, probably. So,
what about ranch? What about like a teriyaki sauce? I'm thinking like Chick-fil-A sauce.
Teriyaki
like Polynesian
sauce would be
sauce.
good.
Sauce.
Polynesian sauce would probably not be not high on my desires.
But
Too
a
sweet.
super spicy General Tso's.
Definitely. That'd be awesome. Yeah, so, these are barbecue sauces that have a little bit of spice to them, a little more complexity. So by that line of thinking, that's where I'm like, I have to be above a 5 for both these, even though they are, like I said, commercialized and evil. They have flavor and taste to them that elevates, food beyond what ketchup does. So I don't know, maybe I'm being too analytical or whatever the case may be here. I like the Kraft a little bit better because of all the smokiness and whatnot. So for me, the Kraft is going to come in at 7, and
Wow.
the Sweet Baby Ray's is going to get a 6.
Wow.
Oof. Wowie.
Those are some high scores compared. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I have a vignette of a child Adam story to share with you guys. I know we've said this before, but I was a particularly chunky little boy and I've grown into a only more slightly mildly chunky man.
You're just taller.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it just stretched out. But what I used to do as a kid, I didn't really eat breakfast often as a kid. So I have a distinct vision of like an average day in the life of Adam on like a school day. I'd go to school, I'd get whatever food they gave me for lunch. And I had a good friend. His name was William. And I used to beg him for money so that he would give me money so I could buy snacks to eat more at lunch. And I used to have he'd make me sing him a song often. So I would have to sing him, a song, something to the effect of, William, can I borrow $1?
Nice.
Something like that. And, so I'd get snacks with that. Sometimes if they had leftover food, that was always the best because you could go get like grilled cheese like for 10 cents. You get like 10 of them if you wanted for $1. But they were made in the oven and they were day old and they were like reheated, so the driest, but they're so, I still crave those things. But
I think you would be disappointed.
No, I wouldn't. So anyways, I'd eat lunch and then get a snack and then come home and make myself up like a Carnation instant breakfast or like a Slim Fast, smoothie. Because it's healthy, obviously,
Oh, yeah. So healthy.
And a big old glass of chocolate milk. I might make like a double batch of it too, like in an extra large glass. Drink that down, wait for dinner, wait for my mom, to come home and make whatever she was making for dinner, eat a full dinner, and then go down, to my basement, fire the TV, start watching The Simpsons, on my old CRT TV, about half a foot away from the TV. Go in the pantry in the fruit cellar in the back, rustle around in there, see what she had for sauces, dig out some Kraft barbecue sauce, maybe a sweet and spicy, maybe a Reggie variety, but I know I've had something akin to the sweet and spicy before. Go upstairs, throw some chicken nuggets on a plate, load them all out, maybe make another glass of chalky milk to bring with me. Get some nice, soggy, limp chicken nuggets in the microwave, maybe still half cold in the middle, and then a bowl, of sweet and spicy or spicy barbecue sauce and just start dipping them in there. And I can attest firsthand to how Eric says the spice does kind of build, like it does get to you after a while. But I just have distinct memories of getting those like clammy, soggy, cold chicken nuggets and digging them into a bowl of shitty barbecue sauce and shoveling them in my gullet watching The Simpsons.
Wow.
There's a little vignette in the life of Adam.
There you go.
Sometimes another glass of chocolate milk before bed.
Use your mind's eye.
So,
and then you would eat what your mom was cooking.
Oh, absolutely. That was before. I would eat the chicken nuggets after that.
It was after dinner.
Yeah, it was an after dinner snack.
Nice.
To complement the pre-dinner snack.
I could use a snack. I could tell you that right now.
I'm sure he went to bed and dreamed of more food, too.
I'm about ready to call up my favorite restaurant. I'm calling a scene.
BK.
What's
your favorite restaurant?
The other one down the street. I'm not allowed to say the name.
Oh.
Not allowed to say Cellos?
You're not allowed to say. It's not a Monticello's.
It's right down the street, you dingus, where we get them. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Dingus.
Either that or Vincent's.
Okay.
But
you know what, Adam? You also remind me. I didn't touch on the spice. On the spice.
Oh yeah. What's your spice rating?
Oh yeah. What is the spice rating? E.
So I think these build very nicely. I like you guys said, like the first couple bites, you're not even going to notice it. But I think slather either of these sauces over top of 10 chicken wings. I think by the end of it, you're going to know it. You're going to feel it. You'll be up there like a 4 probably by the time you're done eating 10 chicken wings.
I don't know, man, but okay, maybe.
That's just my thought.
You're entitled to your own opinion, even if it is wrong.
That's right.
All right. Well, Wow, so that was interesting. I will say I wasn't excited when I saw these on the calendar for us to try. But I
know
say,
you pushed them off a couple times before when I had asked.
That's why they're out of date.
That's why they're out
It's
of date.
your fault.
Oh, it is my fault. I did push them off. That's true. I did push them off solely because I don't think the listeners want to hear about 20 barbecue sauces in a row. That's why. And these are so boring to me that like we had more interesting choices.
You know, it's funny because you're talking about your childhood. Like my childhood, we always had just regular barbecue sauce, and my parents, if they saw anything that had spicy on the label, it was not welcome in the house. Like it was not a thing.
Much like you.
Absolutely.
You like spicy stuff, though. You've grown into that.
Oh, I love spicy food.
Yeah.
All of us kids, in fact, are much more willing to have spicy food, or, my parents, and they're like, well, I don't understand. We didn't raise you guys that way. I'm like, well, I know you didn't raise us that way, but spicy food is good.
Raise you that way, like you strayed from the line.
Right.
Here's
Yeah.
Eat spicy. We raised you better than that.
You're out of the will. You like spicy food.
It's so weird. Yeah.
I do think that a lot of children tend to go like either fully embrace their childhood, like the aspects of their childhood, or totally reject them in one way or the other. And I think that another way is indicative of that is, how I like my chicken nuggets prepared. I like them crunchy as hell. And I think that's partially because of how many soggy, disgusting ones I ate out of the microwave as a kid.
You've had enough of that, huh?
I think it has something to do with it, we're being honest.
No, yeah, absolutely. I'm sure of it.
Your tastes have changed. They have matured. You've gotten away from the squish of the microwave chicken nugget, and you've matured, blossomed into a young man that enjoys the crunch.
Honestly, I always liked the crunch. It was just I didn't have the patience to wait for the oven. I wanted those nuggies now. Simpsons is on. Simpsons is on. Simpsons is on, and I'm eating on nuggies.
Oh, wow.
That's long before the days of DVR. He couldn't pause it, so
it was like that.
We didn't even have cable in my house, so it wasn't like you could just go down and watch anything at any time. You had to catch the specific shows when they came on, like Fox,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like basic local channel Fox. You couldn't just go down and watch cartoons in any. I didn't have Nickelodeon. That's why I didn't watch the Jungle Games.
The Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah, I didn't get to see that because I didn't get that. And I could have eaten my cold, soggy, wet nuggies to that instead. But instead I had
now I just feel sorry
Simpson
for you.
reruns. I'm crying. Give me a minute to collect myself.
Well, I mean, the whole Hidden Temples thing, I mean, it was a period piece,
Okay.
I mean, when you're a kid and you see these huge set pieces, like,
Oh, yeah.
like it would like you just sit there like on the sofa watching this, be like, oh man, it would be so cool to go through the temple and get like chased by the guards and put together the monkey. Like that would just be so cool. And I don't know. Apparently, there's a bunch of nerds that do on keep stats, like
Oh yeah, that makes sense. That tracks.
Oh yeah. I mean, the winningest team in the history of the show and the least winningest team, and like Moneyball for a '90s kids game show.
Wow, interesting. Well, I gotta hand it to you, Eric. I think that's gonna do it for us this week for the Kraft sweet and spicy sauce and the Sweet Baby Ray's sweet and spicy sauce. But I will say, maybe I did you wrong by putting these off for so long. There was a lot more content here for these sauces in this episode than I thought there was going to be. I was expecting a boring one, but I think that this was a little glimpse into the past. Maybe we all understand ourselves a little bit better now.
Wow.
A little nostalgia came up with
factors that destroyed us as adults.
Right.
Taking the touching thought.
But very interesting. More interesting than I thought it would be there, Eric. So I will give you some kudos for that. But without further ado, it's time for
closing thoughts.
Eric to pretend to give closing thoughts and then make up some
I had
bullshit.
a fortune cookie last week and it was good. And
TG, it's your turn now.
Right.
All right, give us whatever bullshit's going to pass for closing thoughts this week, Eric.
The only thing that really came to my mind, I actually sort of prepped a little bit of a thought of this.
What did Amy say today at work?
No, Amy didn't say anything today at work. But no, it's still January. We're still in the early month of trying to stick to our whatever goals you may have set for yourself, and I know even though I'm likely going to fail, I'm still trying to.
What kind of attitude is that?
Still holding to my goals at the moment. No, that's right. This is harkening back to your negative thoughts speech last week.
Shameful.
What the hell kind of attitude is that? I had a final thought altogether, and now you just flipped the script.
I'm
going to give you hell. No, I'm going to give you hell.
You haven't even spit it out yet, and he's already
I'm sorry. All right, go ahead.
I'm selling stuff. And I'm working on the house and getting myself organized, and things are.
How's your budget coming along?
Things are going good. I did look at the budget again today, sort of. I mean, the mint is still.
Eric, this is honestly like 2 hours worth of work. Maybe let's get this sorted out. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
get this
right.
sorted
I still
out.
got the budget to do too. I honestly haven't been
It's
thinking
not
about
hard.
it too much.
This can be
So-
easy. Don't make it hard. Be very simple.
So yeah, so stick to your goals, people, because all you can do is try and make it past January, then February, and then March. The next thing you know, you've changed who you are.
Next thing you know, you've bought 24 Kickstarters
right?
in
Yeah,
3 months.
or you've gone the complete opposite and you've given it all up. So
You've intentionally gone the complete opposite way. But, all right, well, that's, I guess, as good as we're going to get for closing thoughts for Eric. Time for Touching Thoughts with Tori.
Well, yeah, like I mentioned in my little tirade to E earlier, just now.
I think we should do like a Playboy-themed episode where it's touching thoughts, like THOTs.
I will not participate in that behavior.
Like grabbing thoughts.
No,
Okay.
I will not participate.
Soft Spoken is a podcast of a respectful woman.
That's
But anyways, going back to Touching Thoughts with Tori.
That's right. Thank you for clarifying. But yeah, so I had this whole final thought written down, and then E goes with his final thought, and now I have to spring into action. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. E mentioned something that I didn't like to hear. I'm probably gonna fail. What kind of hell attitude is that? I don't want to hear any Yins. Yin sitting in the room, as well as everybody listening, and I said Yin's pretty hardcore. For those who don't know,
Yinza!
for those of you who don't know, that is the Pittsburgh equivalent to y'all or you all.
This is a Pittsburgh podcast.
Yeah, so if I hear any of, I almost said it again, if I hear any of you guys saying that you're gonna fail,
I've never heard you say that before.
I know, it's weird. It doesn't feel good coming out of my mouth, but ooh, that's what she said. That's what Yin said.
Any Yins are going downtown.
Whoa. But yeah, I don't want to hear any negative attitude out of that because, yeah, I mean, E nailed it. We are, on the edge. We're on a brand new year, man. It's still fresh. It's still new. You can still make that change, but it's important that you convince yourself that you can make that change because, hey, I say it a million times. There's so many people out there that wants to take a peg, take you down a peg, wants to take a nick out of your ass. And what they want to see most is you have some defeatist ass attitude, some stupid ass attitude that you're already beat. So don't let them have that, and then show them how much better you can do. So E, I want you to take what I said to heart, and I want everyone else out there listening to take it to heart because I know you're smart and you're gorgeous, and we love you and we're proud of you. And thanks for listening.
Wow, that was a touching thought straight from the heart into Eric's ears and right out the other one.
that's right.
You better listen and
right through echoing
that better
that
register.
echo chamber.
And you know what? And the damnedest thing here, E, and you really got me fired up now. You say all this funny shit, echo chamber, it's going to bounce right out. Dude, I'm going to tell you this stuff up and down just because I like you and I want to see you succeed. Don't have this attitude like nana boo boo. I'm going to sabotage my life to F you up. I mean, that's stupid.
It is his attitude. He's like, Adam wants to
not
get
my
my life
attitude
on
at all.
track. I'm going to fuck it up.
I mean, my bed will still be just as warm. My cat will be just as cute. My beer will be just as good. So you got to do this for you, my man. And that's that. Okay, I'm done. Officially. You're beautiful. Love you. Proud of you. That's it.
That is true. Eric does.
So beat the statistics is what he's saying because we know, statistically speaking, 85% of people's goals and their New Year's resolutions go by the wayside by the end of February.
I was in that 15%.
all right.
I crushed it.
Beat the statistics.
We're coming in with touching thoughts with AP because he's about to lay something down for you, Eric, and for all listeners that are falling into that statistic, which is ultimately you have to find your why. You have to find what drives you. If you don't have anything to drive you, then of course you're going to fail because it's so much easier just to let things happen as they will if you don't have any purpose. And you specifically have never been willing to dig emotionally deep enough to at least publicly declare a purpose. And maybe the listeners haven't either. So I think that's the key thing is that I think all the rest of it will fall into place if you can manage that one single thing, which is to actually find that thing that drives you. So, but
Stunning advice. I think that is absolutely stunning.
thank you.
And
Call that a tag team.
It's almost a riddle, I think, to a degree. And not to get too philosophical here, but you start, when you ponder that question, what is my purpose? Holy moly. You can really dig yourself a really deep hole if you're not careful.
Fair.
But I like it nonetheless.
I know a lot of people do things like for their kids, or they do it for their wife, or they do it for whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter. They do it for their cat, But the point is that, you got to find something beyond yourself to give you that drive and that purpose and that motivation because otherwise, like you said, why bother? So I think that's kind of the thing that you're struggling with there, bud.
It's good advice. Good advice.
But anyway, so that was a lot of stuff going on for some stupid fucking barbecue sauces. So thanks for sticking around. We're happy you guys all listening. With all that being said, have a nice week, and we'll catch you next week.
Oh no, it's the end of the show. Thank goodness there's several other episodes waiting just for you. Check out our Instagram. We like to have some fun over there. We post the sauce bottle pics if you're curious, and the occasional meme. That's going to be Sauce Spoken official. Hey, despite our humble nature, we are accepting donations, believe it or not. Look us up on PayPal. That's going to be at Sauce Spoken. Hey, and if you like what you hear, grease those palms, babe. Lastly, roll up your sleeves and get into the nitty-gritty at saucespoken.wordpress.com. We have show notes and details. Check it out. Share us with a family member or a friend. If you're enjoying it, I'm certain they will too. Good night.